So let's move on now to take a look at the big picture. We have with us two distinguished leaders from Amazon who bring a combined 50 years of Amazon experience between the both of them. Another common thing between the two of them, well, they were both present there when Amazon officially launched in India 11 years ago. Everyone, please put your hands together to welcome Sameer Kumar, Country Manager for Amazon India, and Amit Agrawal, Senior Vice President for Emerging Markets at Amazon. A big round of applause to both of them. Well, you know, it's absolutely great and fantastic to be back here at Smbhav. And Amit, it's good to see you again on the Smbhav stage. But before I get to all the serious stuff, just wanted to ask you, do you share Sameer's passion and love for cricket?
Yeah, first of all, it's super exciting to be back on the stage. And welcome to you as well. You've become part of the Smbhav family being here. I do love cricket. I followed the Perth match very carefully online, and we won that match. And I was very jealous that he went to Adelaide to watch the previous match, which I couldn't. But hopefully we'll see better results. So when we're not talking about work, we're talking about cricket.
All right. Well, let's hope the next match is a slightly better outcome and something to cheer about when we go forward. All right, let's move to some of the serious stuff. Now, this, of course, is the fifth Amazon Smbhav event in 11 years of operations in India. How does that feel, and what do you think about the pace of change which we are seeing, the theme of today's event, Nai India Ki Nai Raftar? What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think firstly, thank you all for joining us. It's so exciting to see, so many people in the room and back to being in person, interacting with so many different people. It's super exciting. I think for the sake of folks out here, I thought I'll give a little bit of context on and something that Sameer talked about and answer your question in that perspective. So, as Sameer started the journey in 2013, but actually Amazon started in India in 2004. So it's been more than 20 years that Amazon has been in India. We launched our remote development centers in India. And then in 2013, we launched our e-commerce business, which is something that you saw the history. And around that same time, the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, had laid out this vision of a digital India, skill India, made in India. And what was very energizing for us when we were going through our own process of building Amazon in India was that our priorities overlapped with India's priorities. And, our approach was always about using technology to empower small businesses, to add selection for our customers, building logistics, and all of that overlapped with that vision that the Honorable Prime Minister set forth. So that was very exciting. And then in 2020, we launched our first edition of Smbhav. It was a way for us to formalize that commitment to that vision. And we made a pledge to accelerate digitization, accelerate jobs, accelerate exports, all towards unleashing India's potential in the 21st century. And, when I look beyond our e-commerce business, we have many other businesses in India. We have our AWS business out here, which actually last year committed more than $12 billion, taking its investment up in India. And we estimate that it would contribute about $26 billion in GDP to India and create an additional 131,000 jobs. So that's very exciting. And then we have Prime Video, which entertains many of you. And that's developing a whole creator economy. So we are very excited that through the portfolio of our different businesses in India, we are part of this India journey. And recently, the Prime Minister has talked about the vision of a Viksit Bharat by 2047. And we find ourselves again in a very defining moment as a company and feel very lucky to be seen as a catalyst for that transformation. And this theme of Smbhav out here is a way for us to again reconfirm our commitment towards a Nai India Ki Nai Raftar.
Right, that's really interesting. Now, Sameer, this is This is your first Smbhav, but you're clearly no stranger to India. You were here so many times and spent some time in America. How does it feel to be back in India?
Thank you for having me here, Vikram, and thank you for that question. It's great to be back, right? In cricket terms, I'll call it my second innings, right? So I played my first inning in 2012. In fact, like Amit tried to sell me first on the job in around 2011, and he used some of the terms like that was used by Honorable Minister as well, that Gandhiji and how he was customer obsessed and we want to be customer obsessed. It took him about 6 months to sell me on the job, but once we got here, it was so rewarding and so much fun to be part of that team. Like, I went to some places like Kala Ghoda in Mumbai and Chowri Bazaar in Delhi, trying to convince the shopkeepers and the book sellers to come sell on Amazon. And we started our journey, as you saw in that video, with 100 sellers. It wasn't easy. It was like trying to sell them. They were all dismissive that what is this e-commerce? We actually talked about how you should sell, how we are building our marketplace, and took us some time to get there. But once they got excited, a lot of those sellers, they started seeing the progress that we are making. So it was challenging, but one of the things Amit had said even that time, that we are going to transform, and he still says that, transform how India buys and sells. And I saw that in my first stint here. And so coming back again here, it's amazing to see the progress that we have made so far. I'm really looking forward to this next chapter and spending time. And if I just look around the team, we started with maybe a tenth of the sellers who are sitting in this room with us. So definitely Smbhav had. So looking forward to that.
Yeah. Right. Well, Amit, you're hearing from the minister also right now, and all this talk about India becoming the third largest economy in the world. Well, 15 or 20 years ago, we'd have said, Smbhav hai, but is it going to really happen? Now, it's not something which is just Smbhav, it's almost certainly going to happen that we're going to be the third largest economy in the world. What role do you see Amazon playing in that particular journey as India moves from number 5 to number 3 and beyond?
Yeah, I think firstly, it's a super exciting time to be in India, right? I mean, just the fact that, I mean, there are so many great entrepreneurs in this room. You can feel the fearless dynamism in some sense that everybody believes that anything is possible. You see that attitude in the country, and it's one of the most exciting feelings that you have when you kind of come into India. You spend a little bit of time here. So I think that's a great thing going for it. But to add to that, I feel there's a big role that the government has played in very thoughtfully laying down the foundations of what we are now bearing the fruit of. So the whole digital public infrastructure that Samir also referred to, the investment in Aadhaar, the investment in UPI, very thoughtful programs like Skill India, Make in India, are all coming together in creating the right foundation on top of it that you can drive the goal of the third largest. So that, it's the possibility has turned into a certainty, but there's a lot of work that has been done in the previous decade to get us there. That actually put in place this whole foundation of digital inclusion in terms of how you could get anybody to come online. And Amazon has been a big beneficiary of that foundation. So I talked to you about how our priorities overlap with India's priorities, but if I just go into detail to answer your question, we have this notion of an Amazon flywheel. We believe that customers care about three things. They care about great selection, they care about great prices, they care about great convenience. And that's what our focus has always been. And when you think about our approach to drive this, we find that our flywheel very nicely meshes with India's economic flywheel. So let me kind of explain that. To add selection, our approach is to use technology and capabilities to empower sellers like many of the folks in this room so that they can offer the largest selection of products to our customers. And we are seeing that has helped us digitize, as Samir talked about, nearly 12 million small businesses, 1.8 million handicraft merchants, 1.8 million women entrepreneurs, more than 350,000 local shops, all of it adding selection. In order to provide great convenience, our approach has been to build a logistics backbone in the country through fulfillment centers, logistics, partnerships with iconic institutions like Indian Postal Service and Indian Railways, and offer the most trusted delivery network to deliver the largest selection with the fastest speed across the country to 100% of India's PIN codes. And that has actually created jobs in new sectors, whether it's real estate, engineering, logistics, transportation. And we're very excited that that has created 1.4 million direct and indirect jobs. And to just give you a sense, that is 30% of all ITES jobs just created by Amazon. So that's very exciting. And the third piece of our flywheel, which kind of grew from India, which was how do we get sellers to sell globally? And what we are finding is that has related to exports out of India, and Amazon already accounts for nearly 3% of B2C exports of India if you exclude petroleum and jewelry. So all in all, I keep telling my team that we should feel very humbled to meaningfully impact lives and livelihoods. This is once in a lifetime chance to be part of this journey and play a very meaningful role.
Right. Well, Sameer, I know it's only been 8 to 10 weeks for you here in India. So, but let me put you on the mat here. So 2025, what do you think are going to be your key challenges and your key priorities in 2025?
Yeah, it's been about 10 weeks now. Like I started this journey back again. And my answer will be a bit boring because what Amit said, that flywheel, focusing on the basics, is going to be the exciting part. I'll come to that a bit later, but the one thing that stays when I go around, meet the team and meet the people around on the teams, everybody talks about how excited they are and the growth that we are already seeing in the business. So my predecessors have left me with a good team and a business that's healthy and growing well. So I'm really appreciative of that. But coming back to what we're going to focus on, I think we're going to focus on customers. We're going to obsess over customers. What we do, as Amit alluded to that earlier, we are in it for the long haul. We build for the long term, and we obsess over customers. Those are things that we're going to focus on. If you look at what we have done in our Great India sale that just concluded a few weeks back, we had close to 1.4 billion visits on our website. Over 42,000 sellers had more sales than ever before. So 42,000, I started with 100. So it's a big, big number. In terms of delivery experience, if you look at how fast we delivered, 30 million items were delivered same or next day in our business. And that's just for our e-commerce business. I'm really excited about that. We are building a great Prime program with the benefits that we already have, and we continue to exceed on Prime videos. A lot of cool things are happening to increase the speed in our business and add more selection. So as we discussed, our flywheel moves with selection, bringing great value and convenience. And my focus will be relentlessly on doing that and building a strong team to deliver that. And finally, some of the initiatives that you will see is we have launched something ultra low items that we're going to have with crazy low prices. Amazon Bazaar has just launched, and we're going to scale it up. We have MX Player that we acquired, and it's going to add to the value that we already have in terms of our video benefit. So there's plenty of things for me to do, but it starts with the basics of taking care of customers and focusing on the long term. That's what we're going to do.
All right, sounds really exciting. But Amit, one of the things that we spoke about at Smbhav last year was, of course, artificial intelligence, machine learning. A couple of years back, it was possible that AI and ML would completely transform the world around us. Now, again, like the growth of India, it's looking more and more like a certainty. Would you agree with that? And do you see this evolving as a major lever of economic growth as well? How do you see the entire AI ML revolution?
I mean, yes, AI is one of the most disruptive technologies that we are in the middle of. I would say that since the advent of the internet, this is probably the biggest disruption that we are seeing. So you can imagine, like any disruptions out there, in the short term, you're always overestimating, but in the long term, you're underestimating. So there's a lot going to happen. I think the one thing that is very impressive is, again, I congratulate the government and the Honorable Prime Minister for leaning in and putting a stand out there that India is going to embrace AI for all, and we are going to use it to exploit its full potential for the benefit of the citizens and for the expansion of the economy. So that's a good sign. It again overlaps with what our focus is. Amazon has been using AI for many years, whether it's personalization, inventory placement. More recently, the generative AI is also very prevalent if you go to our site. Samir talked about our recent launch of Rufus, which is a conversational chat on search. Since the last 3 months that it has launched, we have had more than 10 million customers already use it and found it helpful. You can experience some of the AI outside. I would encourage you to go and look at how AI can change for sellers, make it easy for them to list products, for them to get help. So there's a lot happening. And just last week, Amazon had its AWS Summit reInvent, and we announced our largest foundational model, Nova, which is an any-to-any model with a leading price performance and with cross-language reasoning. I think it could be tremendously useful for developers in India. Also, Amazon Q for Business, Amazon Q for Developers are a great tool, in my opinion, that could bring the power to AI to India. So overall, we are very committed to the Prime Minister's vision of AI for all, and we see there's a lot of capabilities Amazon can bring to make AI an everyday tool for consumers, sellers, entrepreneurs, small businesses, and a host of other stakeholders in the country.
Right. Well, Samir, in a sense, Amit has answered how Amazon is addressing one of the key Indian national objectives, which is AI. But the other major national objectives also, right? Manufacturing being one of them, exports being another. We heard the minister talking about it. You had some interesting data, $13 billion in exports, which is great. How else do you see Amazon really working towards those national objectives?
Yeah, it's very exciting. Even when I came back in 2012, I saw the young India, the entrepreneurship. And just recently, when I was talking to some of my team members, I heard about this anecdote, a seller experience that I was amazed by. These are two entrepreneurs named Dhawnil and Devanshi. They own a company called Skillmatics. They started on Amazon with a vision. They wanted to create toys, children's toys, and with focus on education, educational toys for children. And it's amazing to see their story. They started with Amazon in 2015 as a small toy seller just in India, manufacturing. And their vision was around leveraging the overall India's manufacturing prowess along with the tech talents that are available in Indian ecosystem. And they have created this business not just in India. In 5 years back, they launched it globally on all our Amazon websites. And the recent past, what we have seen is they have seen 50x growth in their business, selling globally on Amazon. And that's a really nice Amazon story on manufacturing, but also about the entrepreneurship that we see in this room and in India. And what we are expecting, like creating jobs, is also part of that. Devnil and Devanshi, they have created over 300 jobs with their small enterprise, and they are very successful sellers. So that gives me a lot of confidence about what we can do. Me and my team are going to be laser focused on enabling small, medium businesses in the country, figuring out how we make it easy for small manufacturers, small sellers to come on and sell their product on India. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited about that. So.
All right, fantastic. Well, last question, Amit. I think one of the most dramatic Smbhav moments was 5 years ago when Jeff Bezos spoke at Smbhav and said he believed that the 21st century was going to be India's century. Do you still believe that the 21st century is going to be India's century? And where do you see, what do you think Amazon is going to be doing to make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, just to repeat a little bit, we are very excited, first of all, that our business priorities overlap with India's priorities. And the pledges that we had made towards that, as Samir talked about, we are very excited that We are already a year ahead in digitizing 10 million businesses. We have already digitized 12.4 million small businesses. We have enabled a cumulative $13 billion in exports. And we have created 1.4 million jobs. And these are very meaningful impact areas that we have been contributing to. So as we look ahead, in today's Smbhav, what we want to do is we want to announce three things. First, we are very excited to sign an MOU with the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. And this MOU is about very focused on the priority of manufacturing that you talked about. So we are going to earmark about $120 million as part of the Smbhav fund, and we would make that accessible to startups who are investing in ideas related to domestic manufacturing and creating brands out of India. Number two, thank you. Number two, motivated by the progress that we have made in driving exports out of India, we are quadrupling our focus in that area. So we are actually going to announce a commitment to enable $80 billion in exports by 2030. And number three, we are excited to launch two new capabilities and solutions. One, Amazon Shipping, and the other, Amazon Freight. And these are, if you look at over the last 12 years, our team has done a fabulous job in investing in logistics, technology and capabilities, and AI on top of it to provide one of the most reliable and fastest delivery network nationwide that delivers to 14,000 plus PIN codes. So we're going to make this accessible to any business out there so that they can take advantage of it. Amazon Freight will offer full truck loads, intercity, intracity capabilities to sellers on demand. So very excited about making this available to businesses as well.
Wow, Amit, those are three really exciting announcements out there. And looking forward to them. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about it later in the day.
Absolutely,
as well.
and I think in tune to the theme of this, we are very excited to your point about unleashing India's potential in the 21st century and realizing its vision for a Viksit Bharat. So thank you for hosting this for us.
All right, Amit,
Thank you so much,
Samir,
Vikram.
Thank you so much. Very exciting session, very exciting times ahead. Thank you both so much for joining us. Please do take a seat. Okay, they want to photograph.
Amazon Smbhav, नए इंडिया की नई रफ्तार।